Welcome to Momversations. I'm Reagan Barnes with Momivate, and this is Diana,
Hi.
my fearless co-host. She comes on to Momversations regularly, about once a month. And it's so nice for me as the coordinator to just know that it's going to be Diana again. And she's always delightful to have. Last time we did like a 20 questions type of thing. And this time around, we are going to hear Diana's story. I think I titled it Diana's Wisdom Gained During Her Weight Loss.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. As moms, we have a wide variety of things on our plates all the time. And that's kind of a pun right there, isn't it? And sometimes we don't always have our chance to take care of our bodies. We're busy taking care of so many other little bodies, you know?
Yes.
And so I am excited for you to share how it was that you decided it was time to start your weight loss journey, and we'll just listen from there.
Well, there was a lot of things leading up to it. So one, I was completely just uncomfortable in everything. Every time I went shopping, nothing fit. But the main thing was that my son he is overweight, and
How old?
so he's 15 now,
Okay.
but this was a few years ago when I knew that if I didn't make some changes, that one, my girls were going to end up orphans because I was afraid I wasn't going to be around.
Yeah.
And so I knew I had to make some serious changes, especially if I was expecting my son to make changes.
Right. Yeah.
And it was hard. I wasn't always, unhealthy or overweight. I gained a lot of weight after a traumatic event after the loss of my husband. And I think within that first year I gained like 75 pounds, and it just kept going up and up and up.
It was a coping mechanism.
Oh yeah.
Right, during the overhaul of emotions and
It was. And especially I think he always cooked for us. And in my mind, I put the feeling of me being full to an emotion that tied to when he fed us. And I know it's kind of hard to explain.
Right.
But I did that, and I did it over and over and over again, and it just got to be out of control. And I think one of the lowest moments was I was having to put on some tights, and my stomach was too big, I was too swollen, and I had to ask my daughters to help me. And I was humiliated in that moment. And they were so kind and sweet about it.
Of course.
But
they love their mama. I grew up with
Yeah.
a mom who was overweight. At the point that she got to in my young adulthood, she decided to have the bariatric surgery. And she was 300 pounds when she got to that point. So, but all of my growing up years was with my overweight mom, and I loved her just that way, just the way she was. In fact, I kind of remember having some concerns that this surgery, and her surgery was 25 years ago, approximately. So it was still a fairly new field, and of course, there's always any kind of surgery is going to have the what ifs.
Oh yes, definitely.
And I was just like, "Oh, Mom, you're fine just the way you are. You don't need surgery, because that's just how I knew her growing up."
I didn't know that. I always knew your mom as a thin woman,
right?
So
yeah,
I just learned something new today. Yeah. But yeah, so in that moment, I just kind of sat there and I'm thinking, I'm their mom. Like I put the stockings on, like.
Yeah.
And I started going to the gym, and well, actually I started going to the gym, but I was still so tired. I was so tired, and I didn't really do much. But I knew everybody kept telling me that they think I had sleep apnea.
Oh,
So I went, did a study and found out I had severe obstructive sleep apnea, very, very bad.
wow,
The worst that the guy said he'd ever seen.
wow,
And a CPAP machine didn't help me, so I had to have a BiPAP.
wow.
And I wanted to pull it off every single night, but I
Oh,
tried
yeah,
it
that
again
sounds terrible.
and
Yeah.
again and again because I knew that this would help me. And I think that it did. I started getting the energy that I needed because of the sleep that I needed.
Right.
Mm.
That's important.
Yes.
So, see a connection there. In fact, so one reason Diana is focusing in on this is because here at Momivate, we have an acronym that explains really how multidimensional motherhood is. We're not just changing diapers or chauffeuring kids places, you know? We say that moms raise up society, and that raise up is our acronym that just explains why motherhood is as challenging, really, as it is. And these are areas, categories of life that mothers have impact, whether we realize it or not. And so the more conscientious we are that this is an area of influence, then we can, be more in control and make more deliberate um, changes for our own sake and also for our children, as you were saying, for your son. So in the Raise Up acronym, the E in raise is for energy. And so for you to be bringing that up, that these things are all tied together, that energy, we get energy in how we sleep and our sleep habits, and we help our children have those good sleep habits. And then there's the aspect of energy that comes from eating. And so most likely that's going to be part of your story as well.
Oh, yes.
And then you already brought up the concept of going to the gym, and that's another part of this energy concept is the exercise side of things, and that those all contribute to energy,
Yes.
our energy levels.
And I keep trying to explain that to my son because he's now been diagnosed with severe obstructive sleep apnea.
Oh my goodness.
I know, and I can't breathe with it. And he keeps pulling it off. He doesn't want to try it, but I'm begging him, please just put it on. Like, I know how it is. It's hard, but if you do it again over and over and over, pretty soon it will become a routine and it won't bother you anymore and you'll actually prefer it.
Right? Yeah.
And
Are you at the point, is that something that you eventually don't need over time, or is it something you are still using?
I'm not using it as much as I used to. I haven't gone in and done another sleep study yet.
Okay.
I believe that I might still have it a tiny bit, but not anything
As
like I did.
severely,
Yes,
yeah,
not as severely. Yeah, definitely not. And so I'm hoping that my son will start putting this on because I truly feel like it helped me get with the sleep that I needed, but helped me make the right decisions. I feel like I just didn't have the cognitive connection right because I
Yeah.
just wasn't.
I think sleep definitely affects how we think.
Yes.
In fact, I've said that before when explaining the E for energy. A part of our acronym is those all sleep, exercise, what we eat. Those all just sound like physical things, like outer parts of our systems. But really, those impact hugely our mental health and emotional, and like you were saying, the cognitive side of things. So
Yes, absolutely.
that's cool to see how it's all coming together in this story.
Yes, definitely. And with that, I started eating healthier and working out. And then because I was working out, I, um, I wanted to eat healthier. Like I just wanted it to all fit together because I was working so hard. And then on top of that, I was also so I drink this nutrition drink that I'm drinking all the time. And it's definitely not cheap, but it helped me a lot. And because I was spending all that money, I of course really was even more dedicated to making sure that this worked.
Right, right.
So
Very cool. Yeah, I think that's an interesting part of it to bring in is outside forces that motivate you. And in this case, it was spending the money on the nutritional drink. And therefore, this, wanting to be more committed so the money didn't go to waste.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about some of your attempts to engage your son. Did you take him to the gym with you?
So we've gone to the gym a couple of times. We have plans to hopefully go more. He does PE at school and a weightlifting class, and
okay.
and he walks home from school, and so he doesn't always want to come to the gym with me.
Right.
And
as a 15-year-old boy, it might not be cool to
yes,
go to the gym with your mom.
yes,
I've had to accept that as as a mom. My 15-year-old doesn't necessarily think I'm cool to be seen with.
Yeah, but we'll go on walks together. We do
Nice.
walks together, and he keeps telling me he's going to come to the gym with me. I hope that he will. He likes to do a lot of weightlifting, and I do a lot of cardio, and so we have two totally different styles of exercise, but it's definitely a work in progress, and we've gone to a nutritionist a handful of times.
Oh, okay.
And spoke with a nutritionist, and he's actually just recently down 10 pounds right now. And yeah, so I'm really proud of him for that. And I think once you first get on the scale and you see any type of, whether it's, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, when you first start to see that little bit of difference, it starts to pump you up. You get so excited about it, and it fuels the fire to keep you going.
Right. Yeah. So help us with some numbers, like how you don't necessarily have to tell your weights or anything like that, but for over a period of time, what was the expected weight loss between those, like 2 pounds a week, or what was it that way?
For my son,
yes, or yourself, whatever.
With my son, we're more or less just focusing on healthy habits. It's not the weight.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So it's not the weight that we're focusing on with him. It's more portion control, and we have no set expected number at all right now. We're just focusing on smaller portions, healthier choices, and healthy snacks.
Oh.
Yes.
So when he gets the desire, and is he drinking the nutritional drink?
He does. Yeah. Sometimes he does. He doesn't always. He has a different, well, he does, not the one that I have. He has a different protein drink that he drinks, but
yeah.
Yeah.
And he likes the flavor and everything.
Yes.
That's
yes,
important.
Yes, definitely. It really is. It really is. And I know that I definitely believe in him, and I know he can do this, and I'm excited. When he puts his mind to something, he's very determined. So
yeah, that's great. That's a good trait, life skill trait, right? Is to be determined, make a decision, go for it, and
yes,
keep it up.
Yes. And with me, I tried a bunch of different, lifestyle change ideas. I tried the keto. For me, I knew that wasn't sustainable for me. For some it is, but I am not a big, huge meat eater.
Yeah.
So it was very, very hard for me.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, that's not a very good idea. And then I also tried something, it's called Bright Line Eating.
Okay.
That was, I incorporated, I continued a lot of that, but added my own things, because for me, that wasn't sustainable either. It's a lot of meal prep the day before, so it takes out any type of in the moment decision making, so that, oh, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat, this sounds good, or that sounds good. You take out all the choices, and it's no sugar and no carbs.
Oh, wow.
That is very, very hard to do, because everything has sugar in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just tiny portions.
So they weren't even saying no treats. They were saying no sugar, like if you wanted to eat a yogurt, but the yogurt has sugar in it.
Yeah,
and you couldn't eat that.
Yes, and no, not even my drinks that I love so much. So they're sweet, and they say no sweet, even if it's sugar-free, because it keeps the receptors in your brain still wanting.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
and I understand the idea behind it, and for a little bit, it worked very well for me,
Oh, okay.
but for me, it was not sustainable. I really like my sweets, sugar-free sweets.
Yeah, and it is you're right, the world we live in just has sugar. I even noticed on a can of beans that I was rinsing off, that I just happened to look at the label and there was high fructose corn syrup in my kidney beans.
Oh
And I was
my
like, wait a
goodness.
minute, these are
Oh, wow.
good for me, but they were soaking in high fructose corn
Wow,
syrup.
I did not know that. Yes, I need to be a better label reader. I hear that the more labels that you look at, if it's the shorter the ingredients and the easier to pronounce, that you're usually in the okay to go to eat it. But the longer the list gets, that
Or the weird
yeah.
ingredients that you can't pronounce that you're just like, wait, so is this a chemical in my food or what is it?
Yes, definitely. But it's definitely been a journey, and I think on top of that, a lot of it has to do with you're getting your being mind, body, and soul all together,
Right.
incorporated in one, to get that in touch with your spiritual side, whatever that might be, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah.
So that you can feel good, to have that energy, to be that, to keep going.
Yeah. Because that's what motherhood requires of us is to keep going.
Yes, yeah, we don't get to quit. We definitely don't get to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes we will see memories and pictures that come up, and my kids are just like, I can't believe that that's you, Mom.
A whole different person.
Yeah, it definitely was. I've lost literally about half of myself, so
Well, there you
or
go.
maybe I
So,
have, yeah.
wow.
So
Yeah, that was the case for my mom was pretty much a whole nother person left
yeah,
body
it's crazy.
with that. So, well, cool. What other thoughts do you have for us about this journey that you've been on? About how long would you say it has been?
Well, so I would say for like the past like 5 years, it's been something that I dabbled with, but I didn't really start getting, serious about it until about I think it's been about 3 years.
Okay.
And at the beginning, I lost about 30 pounds right off the bat when I was doing the keto. And then with the bright line eating, I lost about another, I think it was about like up to 60 pounds, not on top of the
Okay.
probably 30 more, but yeah, it's
Yeah, a journey, like you said, different little detours, like down the keto road and then the bright line eating and
yes, definitely. But it's definitely something I'm gonna keep doing, keep making. I definitely don't want to ever ever have to go back to just being so tired all the time.
right, yeah.
We went to go pick up dog food, and the dog food bags, I think they're like 45 or 50, 45 or 50-pound bags, or 30. I'm not sure, but
They're pretty big.
even lifting
Yeah.
them up, they're so hard for me to lift up. And I'm thinking, I can't believe that I used to carry this around every single day. And I don't know how I did it.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, that's an interesting way to put it, is that it's like having a bag of dog food strapped to you all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a really interesting way to think about it.
But essentially, I mean, I was doing it, but I feel like I was just going through the motions. Like I wasn't really living. I was just existing, surviving. Yes,
barely, yeah.
surviving. Too tired to, go out and go hiking or go pretty much.
Just participate in your children's lives.
Yeah, just sitting on the couch and watching them have fun and
Yeah, yeah.
and seeing all the other moms out, jogging or running and interacting with their kids. And I definitely knew that that's what I wanted and that I had to make some serious life changes if that was going to happen for
So
me.
tell us a little bit about some of the things you've been able to do now that you weren't able to do then. Like, do you have new hobbies? I remember my mom took us roller skating once, and there she was roller skating, and I was like, wow, mom didn't used to be able to do that.
Oh, I love
That's
that you
nice.
just mentioned that because so when I was younger, I used to play street hockey and I loved rollerblading.
Oh.
Yes, it was my favorite. And then we went to Classic Fun Center. It's a little skating place in Utah that we
Yeah.
have here. But
Yeah.
so we went and I thought I was going to be able to just get on these rollerblades and roller skates like how I had done before. And I got up and I knew I was going to go down if I didn't grab the table and I couldn't do it.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
was really, really sad about that.
Yeah.
And skip forward a few years and their school had the skate night again. And I thought, well, you know what? I couldn't do it last time, but I was a lot heavier then.
Yeah.
Why not just give it another try? And so I did give it another try and I was able to do it just
That's
like before.
fantastic.
And I was so excited. I love roller skating. So yeah, definitely that.
Very cool.
And another really fun one is that I really enjoy hiking now.
Okay.
Yeah,
And do your kids go with you there?
yes,
Cool.
yeah, they do. They do. My son broke his ankle 2 different times, and
Oh my.
so he's opted out of some of them because it would start to hurt on his ankle, but
Yeah.
he says that this summer he's gonna go. So
Nice. Very good.
yeah, but we really enjoy and we always love swimming. Even when I was very overweight, we still always swam. So
Oh, good. Yeah, no, you'll be able to do even more
yes,
swimming. So that's cool.
yeah. So it's
Oh, great. Do you have other things you want to share with us about the journey? What else would you want to highlight about this energy aspect of life and all of its facets?
just say, start doing what makes you happy today. It will fuel the fire um, to keep you going.
I like that.
Yeah, you can write a pros and cons list. I know I'm a big list maker, and so, I sat down and I wrote out the things that I wanted to do and the barriers that I had keeping me, what it was that was keeping me from obtaining that.
Yeah.
And I think when you do that, you're able to kind of look at it and have this roadmap of what it is that you have to do or change to get to this other side.
Yeah.
And while you're doing things that make you smile, that you enjoy, I feel like that just does give you the energy to keep you going.
Right.
So yeah.
And I think that ties in with some of the psychological aspects of choosing to love yourself as you are in order to give yourself the gift of the weight loss,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
That I've heard that several times is instead of looking at yourself in the mirror and giving yourself hate messages, is to instead realize that you're worth it. You're worth the investment of whatever it takes. And that's an interesting aspect of it is to find things you love and give yourself those things. And,
Yes.
and I think that's cool. That's a great mental mindset, yeah, to be in.
And I think when you love yourself too, loving yourself is incorporated a whole slew of different ways. For me, loving myself today looks like making sure that I eat healthy because I love myself.
Mm-hmm.
I know that if I go out and although I love sweets
Mm-hmm.
still, and I'll indulge every now and then, but they don't make me feel very good
Yeah.
now when I eat them, or I don't have the energy that I want to have. And definitely if I'm gonna go out and exercise the next day or do anything, my performance is not nearly what it is if I eat those healthy food choices.
Right.
And I think you just need to, what we put into our body fuels us and sustains us. It's, if we put things that are not good for us in our body, we're not gonna feel very good.
Right, right. That's an important thing to be conscientious about. Like, what do they say? It's mindful eating or something like that. And being able to be aware, okay, if I ate this, my tongue might have enjoyed it. But then once it gets past the tongue, what's going on inside our systems there,
Yes.
and being true to ourselves, not trying to trick ourselves.
Yeah, I always say my mouth says yes, but my tummy says no. Like, are you really hungry, or are you bored?
Right.
Or are you trying to feel an emotion? And if you really are hungry, there are so many healthy choices. You can eat as many vegetables as you want. Um, you know, have apples, have bananas, have pears. You can eat those all that you want. Vegetables, broccoli, carrots, just you can, it's amazing how you can grow to like food too. Cause I used to
Yeah.
not be a huge broccoli or carrot person at
Mhm.
all. I liked them if they were cooked, but not
Okay.
really raw.
Otherwise,
Yeah, but now I love them.
and that's what you keep on hand for when you have snack needs, and
Yes,
that's great.
yes.
I love it.
And before it was a lot of unhealthy choices, you know, potato chips, a lot of very high carbohydrated foods,
Okay.
or a lot of foods with sodium. Ramen noodles has so much sodium in it. You wouldn't believe how much
Wow.
sodium it has. But so have you always been a thin, fit person?
Well, yes, I think partly because of growing up with a mom who was overweight and just kind of recognizing, okay, her most common meal is McDonald's. So if I am not wanting to have a hard time putting socks on, I would watch her put socks on and think, I don't think it's supposed to be that hard, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Bless her heart. So I made some conscientious choices early on to avoid fast food. I do still every once in a while like some Wendy's, but rarely McDonald's. Just partly, I think is my mom actually worked at McDonald's, and
Oh,
so
okay, okay. Oh,
so there's some, aspects there beyond just McDonald's itself. But so yeah, I feel like I made some conscious decisions but I also really believe in the DNA aspect of things. My dad's mom was not ever a heavy person, even though she also gave birth to 5 kids. My mom had 5 kids. Um, and so I've thought that through, is like maybe I ended up with her genes. She wasn't heavy, and so maybe, but I have 2 sisters who both struggle with their weight. Even though they're actually pretty good at exercising. I would say they're better at exercising than I am. But I think there's a DNA aspect there that is kind of out of our control. We do what we can with what we get,
yes,
and
absolutely.
I applaud my sisters for their willingness to be committed to exercise. My one sister, she lives in Oregon. She is really into Orange Theory. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No, I haven't.
It's like a weight loss. Well, I don't know if they're really worried about weight loss, but they're more like, let's get your exercise at a peak performance so that you feel well, Um, and so she's been to Orange Theory over 600 times in the past few years. They keep track of it
Wow.
for you. It's all like in an
Wow.
app, and so they're really good at that mental part of motivation and everything. And while you're there, they show you on the app what your heart rate is doing and everything, and they want you to be in a certain zone of your heart rate. Um, And they applaud you essentially
Maybe I'll have to
when you
check that
get
out for
into
my
that zone. Yeah, it's
son.
been, and she's had her kids involved with her there. And so even though she still indulges enough food wise into things that probably don't help her shed weight, right? She has had really good outcomes from this Orange Theory. Because one day she just was feeling awful and she told her friend, and the friend was like, I think we need to get you to the Instacare. And the Instacare, they were like, we need you in an ambulance to the ER.
Oh.
And it was a pulmonary embolism.
Oh, wow. Oh,
She
wow.
could have died. And they told her, your heart is so strong. Like, if it hadn't been for your heart being able to fight this off so effectively,
Wow.
then you would have died.
Wow.
And that's a truth, but because my brother did die from a pulmonary embolism, so it's actually fatal.
Wow.
But because of her willingness to be invested in the exercise, even though it hasn't really paid off in terms of weight loss,
But her
I
health,
think
her health.
yes,
Yeah.
I do. I think it's inwardly she's healthy. And I'm proud of her for not being so concerned about the outward, not showing off that she's such a good exerciser, that she still gets the benefits from that.
Yes.
So,
And I think essentially that's what's the most important is our health.
yeah, yeah. And so I think that's a wonderful thing to be not so concerned about the outward, but knowing what's going on inwardly, that you are healthy, and that's paid off for her.
Wow.
So I admire her,
Oh.
and I admit that maybe my decisions aren't the only reason I've been able to stay thin, but maybe it's just DNA. So,
Yeah.
but thank you so much, Diana, for coming on and sharing your weight loss journey. And I'm excited for you as this continues, especially as your son is getting more motivated. And so you'll keep being his buddy and his example. And I think it'll all pay off in the end.
Yes, yes.
So, all right. And we invite anybody who is listening to come and join us on the show as a guest and share your experiences, whether it has to do with weight loss or other aspects of that Raise Up acronym, which you can find on our website, momivate.org. Thank you.
Thanks.